The Jet Age. Architecture looks to the sky. As we as a nation reach new heights in technology, harnessing atomic energy, and pushing our dreams of space travel toward a reality, our architecture reflects the advancements made, with gleaming walls of steel and glass, starting the true era of modernism. Two of the greatest examples of architecture in this new modern age are quite opposite in location and function, but both resonate the same ideals of a futuristic society. The first building is the Lever House, designed by Gordon Bunshaft, and was constructed from 1950 to 1952. It is located at 390 Park Avenue, New York, New York, and is roughly 275,000 square feet. The Lever House was a pioneer in American architecture, often cited as an example of high modernism, and using what is called the curtain wall, giving the viewer a sense that the exterior of the building was just a thin sheet of glass and metal. Brian Lonsway of Columbia University describes the building, states it as being a standing 24-story building that floats above a horizontal podium, which in turn is detached from the ground, supported mainly by palati, creating a courtyard at ground level and a roof terrace. The structure of both tower and podium is concealed behind a polished glass griddled facade, a symbol of corporate rationalism. It was one of the first office buildings to offer a complete air filtration system. Lonsway continues to completely seal the building and to create a very thin building envelope. To accommodate the need to keep the building sparkling clean, a new apparatus for cleaning a sheer glass wall with no access from the inside was invented. To cut down on the use of elevators and office boys, a vertical and horizontal correspondence conveyor which links all floors was installed. The frame of the structure itself was revolutionary as well, as a steel frame in each of the four corners has a different role. One corner acts as a gravity support, another stiffens the frame for wind, and others combine for lateral and horizontal beam strengthening. All of this for a mere $7 million. The second building is Case Study House number 22, designed by Pierre Koenig, and was constructed in 1960. It is located at 1636 Woods Drive, Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills, California, and is 2,600 square feet plus 1,500 square feet of covered parking and covered area. The Case Study House 22 is what most Californians would call glamorous. 3 of the 4 sides of the building are floor-to-ceiling glass with a steel structure, a true reflection of pure modernism. The Case Study House 22 was designed by Pierre Koenig, who was born October 17, 1925, and died April 4, 2004. Koenig was educated in San Francisco, the University of Utah in 1943, School of Engineering, Salt Lake City, Pasadena City College, California, from 1946 through 1948, University of Southern California, Los Angeles, 1948 to 1952. He also served in the United States Army as a flash ranging observer in Europe from 1943 to 1946. Koenig apprenticed in the offices of Raphael Soriano, Edward Fickett, Kistner Wright and Wright, Jones, and Emmons. He built his first architecturally exposed steel and glass house while a third-year architectural student at USC in 1950. He has been in private practice since graduation in 1952. After designing a number of exposed steel and glass houses, Koenig was invited by John Atenza, editor of Arts and Architecture magazine, to design the Case Study House number 21, as written by the University of Southern California in a biography. After the success of House number 21, he was awarded the commission of House number 22. The Case Study House program was started in 1945, and as noted in the Stahlhaus Foundation website, in Los Angeles, and remains one of the most significant contributions to architecture at mid-century. The motivating force behind the program was John Atenza, a champion of modernism and editor of the avant-garde monthly magazine Arts and Architecture. Atenza envisioned the case study effort as a way to offer the public and the building industry models for low-cost housing in the modern idiom, foreseeing the coming building boom as inevitable in the wake of the drastic housing shortages during Depression and war years. The case study house number 22 was not just the brainchild of Koenig or Intensa, but was the dream of Buck and Carlotta Stahl. The Stahls, as noted in the Stahlhaus website, bought the piece of land the house sits on back in 1954 on a handshake and $13,500. Aside from the spectacular view of this unfriendly spot, precarious and difficult to mold into the vision Buck had for his home. A graphic designer and sign partner by trade, he and Carlotta set about the arduous task of carting leftover concrete from around the city's construction projects, one load at a time in the back of their car up to the property. It needed, after all, some help to keep the land in place and establish the basis for grading the property. Some ideas for the design of the house began to manifest over the 2 years of hard weekend labor, so Buck made a model of the idea he and Carlotta dreamed into being. In late 1957, the Stahls, after 2 other tries, found an ambiguous and ingenious architect named Pierre Koenig. Pierre was the only one daring enough to consider the cantilevered foundation so breathtaking today. A pioneer of building homes with glass and steel, the final design's geometry and symmetry reflect the guidelines of Hollywood streets directly below. The Lever House was designed by Gordon Bunshaft and SOM. Gordon Bunshaft was born in Buffalo, New York, and Gordon Bunshaft received his bachelor's degree in architecture from MIT in 1933 and his master's degree in 1935. That same year, he was awarded the Roch Traveling Fellowship. He joined the New York office of Skidmore, Owning & Merrill, SOM, in 1937, becoming a partner in 1949. The project that elevated Bunshaft to world fame was the Lever House, designed in 1952. A number of significant commissions followed, including Manufacturers Hanover Trust Bank headquarters in New York City and the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden in Washington, D.C., as cited in a biography by Bunshaft by MIT. As quoted in Bronx Architecture by Lehman College, in 1936, Louis Skidmore and Nathaniel Owens, both graduates of MIT's Department of Architecture, formed an architectural firm in Chicago. They opened their first branch in New York City in 1937, and in 1939 were joined by John Merrill and later another MIT graduate, Gordon Bunshaft. After World War II, SOM became the leading American designer of skyscrapers and other large commercial buildings. By 1952, the firm became one of the largest architectural practices, one of the most prestigious in the country, and home to many of the most notable American architects of the 20th century, with more than 1,000 staff across the United States. As the smoke cleared from World War II, an army of returning veterans looked to start anew, and the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, or GI Bill, gave the 2.5 million servicemen and women a head start on living the American dream. The GI Bill gave an entire generation the ability to buy or build the home of their dreams, and as the villages expanded into towns and towns into cities, a new form of community was formed: the suburbs. Living outside a major metropolis in these new formed suburbs was the new standard of living, showcased by Hollywood with shows such as Leave It to Beaver and Andy Griffith. Building suburbia had its challenges, as the materials needed for construction were scarce due to the war effort. So new materials were used, such as linoleum and plastics, and new technologies fulfilled them with air conditioning, humidifiers, and uncountable new appliances. New technologies are what drove us out of a war and into the future. The Lever House and Case Study House 22 are a shining example of how America turned away from all previous vernacular design and opened the world from within their own homes, literally letting the light shine upon their lives by embracing the beautiful yet unrelenting outside world.